This is the epicenter of audio frequency entertainment.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Can't get enough of it.
Oh, yeah. You guys are the best.
Heffron and Reep.
I love you, love you, love you.
The Heffron and Reep Show.
Hey everybody, it's John Heffron and John Reep. Part of the duo. However you say it. Part of the two guys.
Duo.
Why can't I say that?
We're a duo, but we are not in a duel because we're not fighting each other.
We're not fighting. So we're duo. Of Heffron and Reep, thank you for listening and subscribing and doing all the things that you do. Hope your day, week, life, this moment, hope it's going well. I got distracted right before the show started. Said hello to John Reep. Have not talked to him. Told him about this texting service that I signed up for, which I don't know if I'm going to use because it kind of seems like every new technology I sign up for and don't use. Basically, it lets you text just like old school email because Facebook, Instagram, and all that is getting horrible as far as algorithms and views. Like you post if you're performing in a city and you post a thing saying I'm coming to your city, it shows you on Facebook how many people saw that. And it's like 0 people. It's even though you have tens of 20s of thousands of, you're like, how is nobody seeing this? So I use this text service where I can go right to your phone and just go, yo, coming to town. If you tell people about it, I'll give you free tickets. So John just did it to sign up so I could show him because I like the service. It lets me know when people's birthdays are going on.
You're bragging about it. I'm like, oh, let me play with this.
He reads my welcome message, and you just see this look on his face, and I'm like, what? He goes, well, they know it's not a bot because it's written as if you would text somebody, and that to me meant it's littered with spelling mistakes, grammatically punctuations. So I was trying to fix it before we came on, so that's why.
But I think maybe you keep it as is. If people actually know you,
would know that it's
you.
Okay, so,
right. No, look, you're right about the. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it still seems, but going right to people's phones to me seems a little personal. But then it's not. I sign up for a lot of text email lists for some reason. There's some like stoic phrases of the day or just random, like randomness.
Yeah,
So
it used to be a lot more. More personal to
people sign up for it.
But now I get random stuff all the time too. Like we get. Have you ever got the? It's time to renew your car warranty spam fakey thing. That's the thing that's going around.
Oh, I get the most of. There's an Amazon FedEx package you have not picked up yet or something. That's one I see the most. I get that one a lot, actually.
Okay. I do too, and I have another one for you. I hope that you've got the same text, because if not, then I've got to worry about if someone has my credit card number.
They probably
I think it's a clever thing if it's a fake texty thing. But what I've been getting is one from it says something like, thank you for it says thank you for your order at Earth Cafe Santa Monica.
Oh,
and it's got the amount at 9 p.m. that it happened with a person's name. So this actually, somebody probably has my credit card number, huh?
I had that happen once with Domino's. It kept just saying, thank you for your Domino's order for a lot.
So wait, and did you look at your bill and was it on there? Or was it like a fake text thing that's going on?
I don't know. I think they get you to log in and then somehow that's I never know what to do. I just close my eyes and hope that it goes away.
Wow. Leave it in the comments section, folks. Tell us, what do we do in this situation? Because me and John, we don't look at our credit card bills.
All right. So
we just pay them. But also, we're going live on Facebook. We're going live on YouTube and Twitter. It's John Heffron and John Reep. at the Heffron and Reep Show. We like it if you would tell people about it. Hit that share button. As you can see, I'm wearing a new hat, John Heffron. What do you think about my new hat?
I like it. I've seen it on your social that just simply says share.
That way I don't have to keep saying it over and over again. Maybe you just look up at my hat.
And I don't know if you know what I'm wearing. Those of you listening to the podcast, you're missing this. I'm wearing official Heffron and Reep merch, as you can see. Look how good that sweatshirt looks.
Oh, yeah, the 5K.
5K, 2 people running to androgynous people. So they can identify the red person or blue person. They identify however they identify. So it's not a guy and a girl running. It's whatever pronouns you use. So the text thing, right? So I was thinking, well, I'll text people into this when I'm performing in your city and just give them free tickets. Or I mean, not everybody, but you find 1 or 2 people, and maybe they can tell their friends, and they'll get a group to come. So I am buying their love. Right. But then I'm like, but how do you keep in touch? Because if you don't randomly text somebody and a year later they get a text from you, they're gonna be like, who's this guy? Even though they signed up for it. Yeah. Mad. So then I thought, but then I got to make sure I only text during business hours. Like I thought of something funny, but I'm not doing it at 11 o'clock at night because I don't know people looking at their phones and people's husbands going, well, why is John Heffron texting you at midnight? Or having some guy get his phone beep and then his wife or girlfriend says, who's texting? It's a thing. All of this is in mind enough where because I'm part of this. I don't know her. I just signed up on maybe Instagram. She's like a psychologist. She just put out a book. Like, so she texts through the same program I have. Yeah. And all her text says, she gets random stuff. Harsh truth. Not all friends want you to grow. Releasing friendship is a natural, normal part of evolution. Heart Nicole. And then it says, the next one, just today's was, how many relationship problems are just control problems? One partner trying to change or mold into a person they are not. Nicole, but if you can see the texts, see what she does at the bottom of everyone? Yeah. She heart Nicole's it. Like, I don't know her, but I would like to reach out and go, can you like do the squiggly line, Nicole? Doesn't have to be heart Nicole, because here's what I saw this weekend, and I'm using it as a joke, but I'm not trying jokes on you, but this happened, and I had to. It was one of those like audience members. So you know how most comedy clubs now, or most clubs have those QR codes. You want the menu, you have to scan it. So the people front row, this guy's scanning and he's enlarging it, and you can tell he's trying to just look at the menu. He kind of orders, he looks at his girl and this is during my show. Ugh. But it's the restaurants have the QR code. Yeah,
it's a new thing I just now thought of that I'm going to hate. I forgot about that. That's going to happen. We're going to have to get used to that now. Go ahead.
So they're kind of going, but they're being quiet. They're legit just ordering. So I'm not, how else are you going to order food? They were going to.
No, I know. I'm not mad. I'm just like, ugh.
And she goes, what are you getting? And those conversations have all the time. And then she goes like that. Oh, you can't see it. She goes, let me see your phone. And she gets his phone. And she's like this. And then I see her go and throws the phone back. And then he looks at it.
Oh, no.
And he goes like that. And I asked them, it was so blatant. And you know how my brain, I don't have ADD, but you know how I see something like that happen, I immediately lose track of what I'm talking about. And I'm like, what just happened? And then she goes, ask him. He just got a text. And the whole crowd immediately, just in her tone, knew that something was up. And he goes, it's a text from the dentist or like he legit. Now he's pissed at her and read the text that he just got. And it was like, Ashley at so-and-so dentist, he's confirming your appointment. You call it if you COVID test, whatever it said. Make sure you have not been around people, Ashley, or whatever it said, right? So now that on stage, I said, can you believe it? We're at a fellas that if you're like kind of, cheating on your girl or if there's cheating going on, that's fellas, you need to get a menu burner phone. You got to have a burner phone just for menus now. If
just when you go out. Yeah.
Yeah. Before you go, and then you can scan it. Then as you're walking, you can bust it and throw it away. But it's like, wow, like all these new, and that same guy, by the way. So, and then I want to ask you about your week, but I asked him, I go, well, how long have you guys been married or something? Right. Because nobody pops off or gets that mad quick. There's something. He goes, well, we've been married for a year. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. You're just having new marriage. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. And I literally go into old marriage material that I don't even do anymore because I'm married and it just feels weird. Like talking. I don't know. But
it made sense to go into it at that moment.
And plus, I haven't done the bits in 5 years, so I was just curious to see if I remember the old from the staircase.
Oh, I see. You're just testing yourself. Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, I know. And he kept saying that to me. And he was younger than us. He's 40. He was 45. Super friendly, though. I'm going to keep in mind this whole conversation with both of them were really fun, but it was just odd. He goes, I've been married before. And I go, oh, well, how many times or something? Just stalling to take a drink of water. And he said 4. This was his 4th marriage.
Oh, no.
Dude, so again, I would never judge anybody else's life, but the whole rest of my show, even though I was talking about everything else, I just kept doing math in my head going, he's 45. This is 4th.
Wow. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, like, that's one every decade, but I didn't go in deeper unless he was on Dateline and one disappeared or, Yeah. So my whole show was like 4 times. Like, is there a number or that you just go, maybe? I mean, you were married once before. You maybe do it again, but right, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Or at what point you just act like you're married?
I have theories and thoughts about that.
You don't want to, yeah.
But I have questions about what happened at your event, though.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's trying to read the menu on his phone.
Yeah. She goes, let me just see your phone.
And then he gets a text.
He hands her the phone.
And she goes, ugh, and throws the phone back at him. Now, I think that doesn't necessarily mean she's jealous or upset that it's a female named Ashley texting from generic dentist appointment reminder. I think it's maybe she could have been frustrated that crap happened. Like, oh, I'm trying to read a menu and then this happened. Because I may have done the same thing, annoyed at the fact that the text happened, not the fact that I think it's like a cheating thing going on.
If he was telling the truth, that dude could have made crap up and read the second to last. I mean,
yeah,
it was a dentist appointment getting texted at 9:45 at night. I don't know how good your dentist is.
I've gotten so I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Okay.
Right. And the doctor's appointment, they text me and they call me from some automated thing.
Yeah.
And it happens in weird times. I mean, I don't want to pull it up, but I believe that could. I believe that
it's a program. I think it's like the one that I was telling you about. I could type stuff and schedule it and just go schedule. I'll go out or stuff like that. But where were you this week?
Oh, well, hang on. I wanted to also do the marriage thing. What's a number, right?
Yeah.
So I've been married once, and that's it. You've been married once, and that's it?
As far as I know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And when I got divorced the first time, I said I will never do that again.
Right.
And when I said it, I meant it.
Right.
But I'm also a romantic at the end of the day.
That's what I said that this guy was. People were like, well, I'm like, maybe he just believes in love.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I feel like these days, back when our parents were alive, you were one shot done, and it was taboo to get divorced, and it was weird, and not a socially acceptable thing. I think these days it's okay to have a burner marriage. That first one, a starter marriage. You get a starter home.
It's almost like then if you're going to have a burner marriage, right? If you statistically know, right. That just everyone does. I also talked to a couple. So I like to find an older couple or a younger couple and just compare it. I totally misread this one couple. And then I want to get back to what you're saying. I bet you these people were late 70s. Mm-hmm. And I looked at them and I go, "Are you guys married?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." And I was trying to do a comparison that this guy's life versus the new married life and stuff. And I asked them how long were they married, and the guy said 22 years. But that threw me because the math wasn't, I was assuming they were going to go, we've been married 40, 50.
Right.
So that meant they met in their probably late 50s, if not 60s. Mm-hmm. And have had a 25-year marriage. So that was kind of like weird. That was encouraging in the sense of, you can still have so if you have your burner marriage, having kids during that burner marriage, I think that's the real questionable thing you have to put really thought into. Really kind of hone that down. But you have that burner
and that could change everything, by the way.
Yeah, and you have that marriage.
That could turn your burner marriage into the whole into
a lifetime. Yeah. So you have that burner marriage at like 19, 20 and be done by before you can drink. And then you probably got one marriage out of the way. Yeah. And then you can kind of make it through. You can kind of make it through your 20s and 30s. And if you're a dude, that's a good excuse. You can say, well, I was married once already. I really want to make sure that this is right. And you kind of get off the hook until you're 30.
And by the way, let's just say that me and you at our age, or let's just say for the sake of argument that we're single and we're out there in the dating world and we meet a girl.
Right.
And she asks us if you've ever been married, and we say no at this age, that might be weird. So it's a good thing to have one out of the way. I think some girls would look at a guy our age and think, and had asked you, so have you been married? And you say no. That might be a little red flag on their part.
Right when I got divorced, I went out with this girl. Just a couple dates, and she was our age and never been married. Right. So I was going through, trying to figure out, okay, am I going to date? Who am I going to date? One day, if I date somebody who's got like a little kid, do I feel like dating anybody who's got an 8-year-old?
Right.
You kind of have some of those that especially when you're brand new out in the world again.
Yeah.
After not being, and she hadn't been married. And I was like, boy, this is great. I don't have to deal with an ex-husband. I don't have to deal with all this stuff. It's kind of, and then you went out like the third time and went, oh, that's probably why. You know what I mean? You can just kind of tell. And then, it is weird if you've not been. People do. So, I might tell young people just bang one out when like 18, 19. Don't spend a lot of money on a wedding. Don't do that. Maybe get some cash to buy a house so you have some equity to split when you get divorced. Yeah. So don't go through the fanfare and just because that's the age everybody got married.
Back in the day, yeah.
1920 was kind of average. I mean, I waited 30 something.
Me too. I kind of waited. God, I got married in 2005. This is how I remember. You'll love this. This is how I remember my when I got married. It's the same year I won Last Comic Standing, dude. And I go season 5, 2007. So it's 2007, and I'm 49 now. Whatever that math is, but it wasn't like I was 19 or 20. Dude,
you know what parallel lives? So I was trying to do ads for us this weekend. And then I'll get to where you were. But I was performing in Tempe. And I've been in Michigan now for a year. So I literally, this is the first time in my life I've been on a sleep schedule or at least in a time zone.
Yeah.
Right. So doing second shows in Arizona, I'm literally going, this is like 2:00 in the morning for me. Like, I don't have that road energy yet.
Right.
So I get back to room one of the days, and you sent me a bio of stuff you've done with a picture, and I'm trying to make a poster of it because we're doing this town swap. But I also want to tell you how I got a comedian town swap. Anyway.
Okay, good.
And I'm trying to write a funny ad, or like, what's the least amount of words I can put on a page, because Facebook gets weird. If your pictures have more than 20% writing, you can't do an ad for that picture. Right?
Yeah.
So it's weird. So I'm writing all this stuff, and I think one of the ideas was I was going to hire somebody in a medical coat to almost do like a pill commercial, basically asking people, what if we have the ability to clone? What if we could find a comedian who won Last Comic Standing, a comedian whose name is John, a comedian who grew up and then obviously the thing is we have literally, like, if we were to swap out, but if we were to swap out 1 or 2 credits, you wouldn't know. So I'm just trying to find a way just to go, we've doubled the night. You got 2 winner, Tuesday, but I did not know that about you. I also got married the same year of Last Comic Standing. 3 days after I won Last Comic Standing.
How many?
3 days, the same week. Everything happened to me the same week. And NBC wasn't going to let me leave the show because we were still taping it to go get married. They're like, we can't. And I was like, but we paid for everything. This was on the books way before I did the show. And it was a big deal, them letting me out of sequester or whatever it's called to go get married.
Wow. It's so close, John. So close. So we had obviously, and when you don't know, if you're just watching the show, it looks like, wow, he won and he got a wife. It looks like you won the girl, but that's not how it works. But same thing happened to me. Our marriage was planned a year in advance of me even being on the show.
Yeah.
We've been scheduling this for a long time, and it happened to be a week after the finale was to air, which is the same week when the tour started. So I had to beg them to let me out of the tour for that first week. Not the TV show, but the tour part. So it's so close. I mean, yours was 3 days. Mine was a week.
Yeah. I could. It was the same week, like the weekend. I don't know if we taped it on a Tuesday and the wedding was on that Saturday, or it was a Saturday before.
Yeah.
Maybe I have it swapped, but it was all the same week. And there is a problem either leaving before the last episode aired or the finale. That's what I think it was.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Yeah. So we have parallel. I won't put that in our ads though.
No, that's unnecessary.
Yeah. We'll leave that. But
man, I wish you could see. Are you looking at the comment section at all, John? Do you have access to any of this stuff?
I can, but I'll get,
because there's a lot of, I mean, I got to go way back and look at some of these, but some of them are really good. Someone saying it, all this marriage talk reminds me of Paul Farvar's 7-year contract idea. This one person said that was me married at 18, divorced by 20. But yeah, there's a lot. I want to answer this one guy's question. He goes, do you think the girl you're in love with now is your soulmate? And I think it is. Like, I got a good girl. Yeah. This guy, Michael Enderley. Hey, Reep, do you think the new lady in your life is your soul partner? And I really do, because we're both, around the same age. She's younger than me. She's got kids. She has a good job, and our schedules are perfect together. We're perfect together. Everything's perfect right now. So I'm saying yes to that. Also, I know she's watching, and I love you, Jody.
I'm just reading the comments too. There's and I'm going to switch back around.
But I believe everything I just said.
Because I don't want to.
So I'm just saying, like, I at one point said I will never get married again. And I meant it when I said it, but now I also know that I will get married again.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm excited about that.
I always said in my act a long time ago that every 4 years your spouse should be able to have to run for re-election.
Yeah, so that's not bad. That's good.
Good. Every 4 years you recheck in. And then I also read before I turn them off that a lot of people get divorced after X amount of years. You know why? Okay. No, on the other end, especially if you live in California, if you're married for over X amount of years, then it's called a lifetime or for something. There's some term, and you have to pay more in support or
you have to pay alimony for the rest of your life.
That's how some people. Yeah, I don't have to, but that's why though.
If you're in California, because I was on the same thing. Yeah. If you're married longer than 7 years,
yeah, it knocks you in a different bracket. So a lot of people get divorced at 6.5 years. Like they do a lot of self-inventory to go, I better call this game now. Because if I wait another year, this is going to be X amount. So that's why a lot of people have marriages that are 6 years.
Time's a ticking. Yeah.
Yeah. But now, why? No one can take anything from me now. We just get older. At what point? You're thinking about that. People, when you're new to dating, people go, well, you just want to make sure it's the right person. Like, how much? Don't you know what you want at this point?
Oh, totally. That's why I'm so happy, because I know exactly what I'm saying yes to all that. And I'm also saying at this age, with what I've been through and knowing what you want is a great thing. And then when you find it, you're like, well, cool, this is perfect.
And now, you should start really kind of thinking, like now if people ask you, what are your goals for the future, or, any of those type questions that you might have had in your 20s or 30s. And they always say, well, you and your partner have to have mutual goals, and that way you're working towards the same thing. Since we all know we're going to get old and retire, this is where, like, I think you guys should really start practicing pickleball. And then that way, just when you guys are just couples playing at a retirement community, you have 20 years of practice.
I want to play. I just haven't seen anyone playing it around me anywhere ever.
I saw a news story that it's the newest or most played sport in America right now. And there's a top kid who's top in the world. And they said what he makes in sponsors, which was like $250,000. That shows you how new it is.
Yeah.
And they explained it to me. I watched it. It's ping pong, badminton, and tennis.
Oh, I've seen it.
But you don't really
on television. I saw it on a documentary that I saw about the one I was telling you about when Rob Little was on here. We talked about it
on the villages.
The villages, and they played pickleball there. And I believe John Heffron he's there. Okay. But there's nothing wrong with cornhole either, by the way. I don't have to play pickleball. I can play cornhole. The Alan Jackson, is John Heffron freezing up on us? He looks a little Max Headroomy right now. If that's the case, I can continue.
Yeah, no, the Wi-Fi is wimping out. All right, I think he's coming back in now, though.
All right, let's see if he catches up.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yes, I think so. I think you're good right now. How are you? How do you feel?
I'm on Wi-Fi now and not my normal internet because I don't know what happened before the show. So I might max headroom out. So if I do,
that's okay. We got plenty to talk about.
No,
I can filibuster. Let's do a subject change, John.
So you tell me where you were this weekend. Tell me where you were performing.
I was in Springfield, Missouri at a comedy club called the Blue Room. It's not really a club. It's a music venue that is also does comedy. It's called the Blue Room. It was great. I had never been there before. Didn't know what to expect. Crowds, the shows were packed. I didn't see a lot. I saw some people wearing masks. I saw some people not. It didn't really look that social distance to me, but there were some tables in there that I'm sure they put in there just so it would spread apart a little bit to cause a little bit of more room. And it was the guys that I worked with this weekend were funny and hilarious. I got some pictures. I met some fans that are fans of the Heffern and Reep show that I sent you a text of a shout out that this guy wanted to give you.
I saw one of the guy, Lewis's guy, was doing guest sets in Phoenix. This young Latino gentleman was playing golf somewhere, and he said that they got put with these older dudes, like these way older dudes. And he's talking to him, and he says he's a comedian. And the guy goes, "There's a comedian in the town that I live in, and I've seen him, and he's funny." And then this Lewis goes, "Who?" The guy goes, "Where you from?" No, Lewis says, "Where you from?" And the guy goes, "This place, Hickory, North Carolina." And the guy, and he goes, "You mean John Reep?" And then he's like, "How you know who I was gonna say?" And like that to the kid, because he's, this little Latino kid suddenly knows John Reep.
Oh, like he just discovered me?
Old guy was the guy that knew you, and you were a comic, and he just knew immediately when the guy said, "I'm from Hickory." That he goes, "Yeah."
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how like younger people are discovering things that have been out there for a long time, and they're using the word "I discovered this."
Yeah.
Like, you didn't discover nothing. It's been there.
Yeah. It's not, Yeah, it's not.
Right. It's new to you, but I appreciate you're here now.
Yeah.
But don't make it sound like you did something.
I got the weirdest, "Oh, you're that guy from" thing.
Yeah.
I just sat in bed last night before I got picked up to fly out pretty early. Maybe 15 years ago, I would say. I could be wrong. 12 at the minimum. When YouTube first came out, is when I got my two kittens, Smokey and Cho. And you could try to pull it up. It's called UFC Cats, but it'll say Smokey and Cho. So we shot this thing, and we made an octagon, and we had the cats fight in an octagon. And then my buddy Joel, we edited it. So there's things we did wrong, and we put it on YouTube. And it was this was when nobody was on YouTube, and it was Smokey and Cho UFC fights. So I go to buy after my show last night. I go to that little thing at the front desk where they sell just candy and chocolates and chips. That little, little side room.
Yeah.
Food. I went to go eat. So I grab some chips, and I grab a water, and I grab a 5-hour energy for this morning, and I throw a Kit Kat on there. I go, "Can you charge this to my room?" He's like, "That's on me." And I go, "What?" He goes, "That's on me." And he goes, "Love you, John," like that. And I go, "Oh, well, thank you." I go, "Did you go to the show?" He's like, "Nope." He goes, "Smokey and Cho UFC fights." And it threw me back because that's something I did 15 years ago. And those kitties are now, they've passed away a couple years ago. So just the fact that this guy said Smokey and Cho to me, which were my cats that slept on my head every night, I went back to my room, and just the whole night as I'm sleeping, I'm just scrolling through old videos of Smokey and Cho. And then I don't know if we have it was put together really well. And I remember Dana White, president of UFC, I remember whatever you tweeted back then or something, saying it was the greatest UFC video he ever saw.
No kidding. Wow.
It has no views because nobody watched. I need to maybe re-put that up.
Yeah.
On TikTok or something.
So if the Alan Jackson were to just Google Smokey and Cho,
just go Smokey Cho UFC. And
anybody who wanted to look it up could do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude. I got some pictures and a video that I'd like to show from my weekend as well. Okay. I don't want to overload the Alan Jackson with stuff all of a sudden.
I can try to find it and send them while you're talking, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Me eye contact.
So I will show you the guys that I worked with, and then I can show you the video. Whenever the Alan Jackson sees fit to just throw up an image, I can talk about it.
What's weird is we're flip-flop today. Did I just notice that?
What's that?
Am I always on the left when we watch these shows live? Or are you always on
No, I'm always on this side.
You are?
No, actually, I think you're switched this week.
What?
Yes.
Knew something was up.
I think Heffron's normally on the right. I mixed it up a little bit. Keep you guys on your toes.
Okay. Hey, John, you never know which side we're going to be on.
Yeah, sides all makes sense.
John, look at this.
What? That's Conan O'Brien or your stunt double. Did you have that guy do your meet and greets?
That guy was the feature act.
Did you know him?
No.
Okay, so dude,
he's great.
Yeah, but super funny. Kind of looks like Conan with his hair.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was
too much of one thing sometimes. So, when I see that happen, I start thinking in my head, all right, so what am I going to say by the time I get up there in reference to
go, hey, Ginger, hey, I look right?
Yeah, do I say this is my like cousin, my nephew?
Stunt double. By the way, I like your new haircut.
Stunt double.
Yeah. Yeah, my show had this Latino girl who was 5'2", and then had this big J Irish guy who was 6'8".
Oh yeah, I know Big J.
Not a big J.
No, I know the one you're talking about. He's got yeah. I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, 6'8", just big, burly. I felt safe in his arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's name is Aaron Scarborough.
Did the audience know when you got up? Did you say anything?
Well, it's weird, right? By the time I got up there, because it wasn't lit like a comedy club stage is lit. They had like a spotlight, and it was a little less bright than what I would like. Oh, okay. So the hair didn't stand out like it normally would. So I didn't really have to. But I had things ready to go. Like, hey, how about one more Ginger? Right. But he was great. I didn't have to address it. He looks like, if you look at him closely, because we were talking about what he looks like. I said, you look like me a little bit because you have the red hair.
Right.
And in this picture, and I did my hair that way on purpose just for this picture. I took my hat off and did it that way. Oh, okay. I said, let's try and look like each other. And he does look like a little bit of Conan O'Brien.
With his hair, yeah. With
the hair. But in this picture, you can't tell. He looks like a younger, gingery Bill Pullman. Okay. Bill Pullman, the actor?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he kind of looked like him. But he was a good opener for me because he was low energy and very sort of like cerebral, I guess you could say. But at the end of his show, he sold paintings. He had paintings that he had made. Yeah, like he's a painter. And he brought like tons of just random paintings that he had done. Like it's like a little art gallery at the end. I always say if you have something to sell, it's okay. Just set my crap up so I don't have to do it at the end of the show. So when you're setting your crap up, go ahead and take my little bag, put it next to yours.
How many items? Because I know I know comedians that will nameless that don't let people sell merch. And I always kind of think, well, I'm always two sides. I always let people sell merch because I'm too lazy to sell my own. And I know how much money they're making that thing. So usually selling merch doubles their cash, or at least, that's what they pay for gas. Or
they need it more than us. So
they go. The only time I've ever said anything, this was years ago.
This is going to be great, isn't it?
Well, the only, no. Okay. So I might be wrong. There was one guy that was making CDs himself. Right. So he'd burn the CD off of his computer.
Yeah.
When you did that, and then he'd have a Sharpie and he'd write his name.
I've done that before, by the way.
And he'd go. Yeah. So and then he was emceeing, and then the feature act did also something similar. And then I had my CDs that were labeled. And I said, it looks like a horrible swap meet when people leave. All of three of us look desperate. And then I told him, I go, it costs 98 cents to $1.50, and here's a link to where I get mine done. Get CD jackets and CDs printed. It's a statement of who you are, and it looks low rent. if you're doing in the butt. So I said that once, and the one other time, this guy sold rulers, right? Glow in the dark rulers. Remember those ones you'd have in school? Those little ones that were like 5 inches, 6 inches, because this was part of his bit. The ruler was wrong. So the ruler says it's longer than it is.
Oh,
so
I
that
see.
way, when it's dark and you measure it to show your girlfriend, you could say that it's 8 inches when it's actually under. So I had whatever I was selling. I was either selling DVDs or whatever at the time period was. And I got pissed because there was a line. People like left the show early to stand in line to buy the guy's ruler. So he had a line of 40 people that wanted to buy this hilarious ruler that was shorter than whatever. And nobody was buying my actual art that I did. And I didn't tell him not to sell it, but I like despised him by the end, where I was just like, okay,
that's funny.
I'm kind of. I had one guy. So
people are laughing at that idea right now in the comments section. They want to know where they can get the ruler.
Yeah, I'm not bagging on the ruler, but he had, but it crushed. Like it crushed, and there was a line. And then there was another guy who did magic. And he goes, "Hey, can I do a guest set?" I didn't know him. He goes, "Can I do a guest set?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever. Less time for me. Just don't be dirty." He's like, "Well, I got a bid I do, and can I sell merch?" So now I'm thinking, okay, you're gonna sell merch as a guest set. That's kind of breaking any. They're not rules, but there's
there's
things you don't do if you're on somebody else's show. It gets weird, but I'm not confrontational, so I wasn't gonna say no. So he sold a wallet that catches on fire. Right? You open up your wallet and then you go like that, and then
I've seen those.
It's on fire. He told me what he makes on these wallets, right? The price point. He does a bit. He's on there for 6 minutes. He does a short set, does the one joke that's got the wallet on fire, walks out there. I do my dumb show, walk out to sell my DVDs. I can't remember what I was selling at the time. Again, this fucking line. Just a line.
A line for the wallet.
So then I figured out the math he did, the amount of money he made from doing a 6-minute guest set couldn't come close to what he would make if he was
on the wallets
doing 5 shows. Right. So
right.
He was if he was booked as a feature at a comedy club for the weekend, he made more money in that 6 minutes than he would if anything with the word funny or bone had in it that had their feature perform Thursday through Sunday. So then I talked to him even more, and here's where it gets even. He goes, "Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that do this bit." And I go, "Well, who did it first?" Obviously, it's done enough where they're buying these things in China. There's a comic, and I'm not crapping on this idea at all. I think it's kind of genius. There's a comic who created the bit, and he then leases that bit to these guys. And the rule is you can do the wallet that catches on fire bit, but you have to buy the wallets from him. So right. So like now just do the math. If I got to buy my wallets from you and you're charging me $10 and I know I can sell them at 20, I've made $10. But if they're only costing you $1, you're making $10 and you're not even leaving your house. Now he's got 7 guys doing the same bit, moving product. Now you're like an Amway. Now you're pyramid scheme this bit. It's genius. I'm not hating on it at all.
That's awesome. It's awesome. It's diabolical. And I'm already thinking of ways to get out of it. Like there are probably dudes who thought like, well, you know what? I don't have to buy your wallet. I know how it works.
That happens almost to the point where this was all in Florida. I don't know the origin stories and I don't know how it ended. But I remember it ended bad, like just like every bad mob movie. Somebody went behind somebody's back and somebody found somebody who was undercutting. That, you know what, dude? You could create here's how you move t-shirts, right?
Well, I don't do T-shirts anymore. I do ginger beard masks. See, you can get these at johnreep.com. Go ahead.
Oh, no. So you can get it at heffernandreep.com, Heffern and Reep Classic 5K. But what you should do is you should come up with like a funny bit, not that you use in your own act.
Yeah.
And you get 20 T-shirts and you look at the feature act and go, I got a bit for you. It's about measuring your penis in the thing or whatever the bit is. I got 20 shirts for you. You can do the bit. It's a closer. It's your clients. Give me $200 for the T-shirts and you'll make four. That's how you do it. You know what I mean? And then you're just now you're having your younger acts move your product.
Yeah, I'm not hating on it. It's got to be something. It's got to be something generic enough that everyone can use it. You know, it can't be specific to you.
Do you think product placement happens in ads in shows? Because back up with the door on it so much that I've had people when they see that commercial. I know so just from you can't hear me?
You're breaking up again, brother. You're coming in and out. I saw something about backing up to a door, and I couldn't quite understand the rest of it. Am I close on that? Try again.
Hear me now?
I heard me now.
You heard me now. Let me talk to this one thing here, just to make sure. I don't know if you can hear me. It's weird because I can keep saying, "Can you hear me?" and hear me. You can hear me?
I can hear you. Your video's choppy, but your audio's okay.
Okay, we'll just go with audio. I wonder if you can make money as a comic if you bring up a brand or something in your act and you just do it in a positive way. Like, I wonder if that's a thing. We're almost doing an infomercial. We're like, oh, I want running today. I got these new Bose headphones, and boy, do they always stay. Anyway, funny bit about running. But you're saying Bose all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's possible if you're a big enough name. You know, if you were someone like, Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or someone gigantic, they would love that. You'd have to do it all the time, though. Interesting. What else was I was gonna talk about other things, John, and I can't. Is it time for a subject change?
Let me try.
How are you doing? I want to say this. We are reading your comments.
Do what?
We are reading your comments. There are people asking me if we're seeing the comments because they like the fact that we're live, John. We are live right now. It is Monday, April the 19th at 8:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am seeing your comments. Mark Hunt just said freeze frame. Here's one from Shane Flint. Really, Heffern? Try Starlink Internet. I guess it's talking about your connection.
Yeah, my connection usually works. I had one. It's things got moved around and it stopped working. And instead of bailing on the show, everybody, I MacGyvered it, and
here we are. Yeah, it's working. It's fine.
Every once in a while.
Jay Scott says, I feel the people that cast the show also determine and develop their fan base. I don't know what that means. He must see at some point, John, when you and I get to talking and we're not looking at the comments, they start talking to each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that comment was about.
You know what I saw that on last things, because I always go through and I kind of read because I try not to look at the comments while we're doing this show. Because it throws me off. I just don't know how to have a talk with you. Look over here. Because people write paragraphs. I'm like, that's too much back. So I kind of sometimes don't. But I did go through them. And what was I at the airport? Somebody wrote, and this is where I just maybe don't have the chops to read. They're like, Heffern looks exhausted. Look at his dark circles under his eyes. And just that one comment. I'm like, I just flew all day. I'm doing this, of course. Yeah, my eyes are going to have dark circles. Like, it's a thing. Sometimes not commenting isn't always an option.
Yeah, 100%. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to body shame us. We know we're not 23.
I'm sensitive.
Yeah. Also, the Alan Jackson, let's show the other picture of the other guy that I worked with. This guy was doing a guest set on the Friday night that I was there. He did a guest spot on both shows. His name is Old Man Willie. And do you want to guess how old he is, John Heffron?
He's 34, but
37 years. No, I'm just kidding.
Old Man Willie.
Mm-hmm. He's like 84, I think. And I said, wow. And he's polished. He's got good jokes. Like, I mean, he's not an open micer. This is a guy who has jokes.
What's his story? Did he do stand up? Like, how did he become 84?
He's from New York.
Okay.
He now lives in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Because he wanted to be closer to his grandson or something. He had a very thick New York accent. It was kind of hard for me to understand him. And I said, how long have you been doing stand-up? I was expecting something like, just the last 5 years. You know what I mean?
I took a class.
He said, over 20-some years. He goes, I started when I was in my 60s.
What?
That's how old he is. He's been doing comedy as long as maybe a lot of headliners, and he didn't start till he was in his 60s. So I was thinking, do I want to be doing it that long? I don't know. I think I might, but sometimes I think no. But I think he loves it. I think at that age, he just wants to get out of the house. Just wants to mingle with people.
Your level of caring. I mean, you're still probably always going to care, but your brain, it'll help you.
Yes, right. It's a good.
And I felt like I felt worthless. I felt my brain. I couldn't memorize more than, not that I really memorized my act, but I think it's always part of your identity. So as we get older, our venues are going to change, I think, right? We don't do NACA conferences anymore. Right. Those are those conferences when you were in college, you'd perform, and college kids would book you to perform at colleges. So you aged out. We aged out of those.
Correct.
We don't perform at colleges anymore, but that used to be the only place I performed. And I made a lot of money there. It was 200 colleges a year I would perform. Then in clubs. And then eventually, you have these people. But I think we end up in the Villages type place.
I think it's okay.
Or a Vegas type show, because our age group is going to get older with us.
Yeah.
We don't just age and then they stay young. I mean, hopefully.
But he was doing a guest set at a rock venue in front of my audience. And he did great.
Are they jokes or stories?
Jokes. Like he's got jokes. You remember Jay London from?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he was on my season of Last Comic.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a Jay London a little bit. An old Jay London. He actually did, and I don't know who got it from who. Maybe because this guy's been around a long time. Maybe Jay got it from him, or maybe it's just a thing that people do sometimes. New York, or he'd say like, I read somewhere that something about getting struck by lightning. May God strike me by lightning right now if what I'm about to tell you. I'm sorry. Let me do it again, John. May God strike me right now where I'm standing if what I'm about to tell you is a fake or not true. And then he just moved over to another spot and told a story. So it's about the spot, right? So Jay London was very standing in one spot, moving around, and he used the stage. And so he reminded me of Jay in that aspect.
Yeah. Jay he would be really close to the stage, and every joke that bombed, he'd back up. So like by the end of the show, he'd be almost as far away from the audience as he could possibly be. And that just became the joke, him just going backwards. Like he wouldn't even have to say, you wanted him to go backwards. Yeah.
I remember at the Comedy Store one night, at the end of his set, he was literally behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Peeking out like this, telling jokes. Like you just saw his eyes.
That's hilarious.
He's got one of my favorite jokes though, and it's a jokey joke thing, and I'm envious of those guys because that's not what I do.
I don't know how they memorize them.
I wish I had the skill. Yeah, I'm more of a story. I like to use my face, my body. I like to tell stories.
Yeah,
I've got some jokey jokes, but they don't They're not great as far as I'm concerned, but I envy guys that can do it. So I've always liked those kind of guys.
Right.
And Jay London had this joke. For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, just Google Jay London. And look at him. He looks like a caveman from a Geico commercial. Am I wrong?
No, he's 100%. And he was a cab driver in New York, or a cab driver, and he would pull his cab over, run into the Comedy Store, do sets, come and jump back into the cab and drive around. I was on Last Comic Standing with him. If you want to Google Last Comic Standing season 2, he was in there and on our show. I wish they'd replay that. Like I have the Peacock network. I don't know why they don't just.
Why wouldn't they? There's some great famous comics on there that they could be using.
I don't know why they don't. And our season had story arcs because we were a reality house.
Yeah.
It's all evergreen. There's no you wouldn't know what time. Anyway, so we had to stay at this porn castle. Is the house that we had to stay in for 2 weeks, and it's the same castle was on the cover of the band The Time, Ice Cream Castles. They're on the front there, and I've seen some adult film literally in the same. I'm like, that's where we voted Todd Glass out. Like it literally, I've seen that just come across the feed.
Yeah.
He was my roommate in that. He had a roommate, and we had bunk beds. Right.
I gotta go back and watch this.
So he would. I just remember his sweatpants that he'd wear. And there was a bathroom that was in our room, and it was this gross porn castle from the 70s. And he would get up and he'd fart, right? But he'd fart not to be guy funny, like when you stay at my place the second week of June when we do our town swap, when you're performing in Ann Arbor, me and you are doing shows in Ann Arbor. We have more details next week when they put it on their website. But the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, June 11th and 12th or 10th and 11th. It's a Friday and Saturday. Just throwing that out there. We'll plug it better. But that's if you're listening in the Michigan area, that's gonna be not a secret.
Yeah. So I'll June 11 and 12. I'll be in Ann Arbor with you doing comedy, and then June 7 you'll be in Hickory with me doing comedy. So just save those dates for us.
So when you're staying at my house, which I'm trying to get ready for you, because you'll be the first house guest.
The Alan Jackson will be with me, by the way.
And I'm trying to decide if I want to pull this trailer up and put it in the front yard, as long as Alan doesn't use the bathrooms here, because it won't be hooked up to water. But he
do what? What can't I do?
Okay, so when we do our town swap in June,
right?
They're going to be big shows. They're going to literally sell out as soon as we get the link. So we haven't discussed where you're going to stay yet. I have this really good farmhouse with a lot of rooms. There's hotels in the town that I'm in. There's one that's right next to a Big Boy. If you haven't eaten in a Big Boy in a while, you walk over there. Or this awesome trailer that's 2 bedrooms, kitchen, bathroom, dining room, or whatever. I can pull up in front of the house, and this whole thing could be yours. The only thing is, it's not going to be hooked up to water, so you have to come into the house to go potty.
If that's what you choose to do. I think you're saying you have choices.
I have choices.
Yeah, so you're going to see lights going. Me and John probably going to have a dance party, and there's going to be a lot of fun happening in that house. But if you want to be recluse like you are on the show, you can hide in this thing. That might be fun out. But that's weeks away. We can talk about that.
I have time to ponder. I've got some difficult decisions to make.
There's a lot of really cool, good hotels.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Awesome. You've given me a lot. You give me a lot to think about.
Yeah, we're gonna play trivia too.
Thanks.
I would just say you have choices and just leave it at that. Yeah.
So, but Jay London would get out of the bed to use the bathroom, and he would fart, but not to be funny. He would just fart. Old
man fart. Like it's a fact of life, and maybe not acknowledge the fart.
As he was walking, I wish you saw video Jay London or even pull up him maybe on.
So let's do that. The Alan Jackson. Type in comedian Jay London and look for a good, weird, nasty caveman looking photo of him,
or play a video of him. Like he's hilarious.
Which one?
I don't know how many would be up there.
I didn't know if you have a certain one. Okay.
Oh yeah, I would just go, but he would fart, and there were those there were the wet ones, like the wet sounding ones when they're almost like shats. When I don't know if you've ever done one right before you got on stage, where you're like, there's no way I didn't. Anyway, and then he would just go. He would walk. He wouldn't even say anything. He would just go. I'm disgusting. Just the flatulence. He would say flatulence. So anytime I either smell a fart or I just think of it, he's just like, disgusting.
Flatulence.
And then he'd walk into the thing and he would just go and you would just hear it. Yeah. So,
dude.
The thing about Jay London, too, that
he had jokes, dude. He was a joke teller.
We need Alonzo Bowden on here. Alonzo traveled. Him, Alonzo Bowden, and Gary Goldman did a tour together. Yeah. My season last comic, I could just be by my I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Those guys toured and I guess they kind of butted heads, but Jay London's arms, if you pull up a picture of him, he has the biggest arms I've ever seen in a human being, but he was like a boxer in the, I don't know.
Oh, was he?
He was he has this literally.
He looks like he's got a boxer. I bet his nose has been broken several times.
Yeah, but his arms were like, remember when you're a little kid and you see your dad's arms and you're like, man, am I ever going to be that big? He literally.
Hey, D. Allen Jackson, have you found any pictures or images of, there he is. There's
that's flatulence.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is one of my favorite jokes of his that just sticks out in my brain. I mean, there's many, but so imagine this guy right here on stage telling you,
sleeping in a bunk bed above me, by the way.
Yeah. It looks like his nose is running in this picture. But his joke was this. And what I liked about this joke was it was one joke with three different little punchline laughs in the joke.
Right.
Because the first thing he said was, I used to work at a Bed Bath & Beyond. And right away that gets a laugh because there's no way this man has ever worked at it. And then the next thing he would say was, I worked in the Beyond department.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because that doesn't exist. And then the next thing he would say is, people would ask me where stuff is, I would say it's beyond me. So it's like three laughs and one joke. And I'm like, I just love this guy.
Yeah.
And he's a sweetheart, funny, but I guess there's something going on with him, huh?
I never knew. I just know.
Was he a character or was he like?
He's that dude.
Yeah, he's that dude.
He's not a character. Like he's not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to watch videos. I know.
I want to watch one of his videos now.
I had somebody send me, and now I'm thinking maybe that's a random. They had all the episodes from my season of Last Comic on like a hard drive or a thumbnail they put on.
Oh, really?
Episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to find them.
Do you want to see the video of one of our fans from the Heffron and Reep show?
And then, well, you can plug your dates.
Yeah,
I'm just getting all nervous. My internet's going to crap out. We've done an hour.
So when I was doing a show this weekend in Springfield, Missouri, a fan walked up to me after the show and said, "I love John Heffron."
What?
Yeah, I'm like, you're at the wrong show. Yeah, but he likes you, and I thought like, well, my buddy John Heffron needs to see this. So I recorded him saying, and I guess D. Allen Jackson could play it for us if you have it. Hey, John Heffron.
You are one of the comedy icons, along with this fella right here. Yep. Don't let him fool you. He's good time.
I'm half of Heffron and Reep.
Good, great podcast. Love it.
But you listen to Heffron and Reep.
I love Heffron and Reep. One of my favorites.
John, it's paid off. We got someone. Buddy, see, there's one down.
Good.
Well, we just got to keep doing that.
We'll do it person by person.
That's right. Also,
it's just weird seeing people holding. Like I did some pictures because in Tempe this weekend they had Tempe, Arizona was shut down for like 12 minutes, and coming from Michigan that we've been shut down for a year. And you can't do anything. It was like going to a friend's house when you're a little kid whose parents didn't have a lot of rules. Like you let them have sugar. It just kind of had that vibe where they had Pop-Tarts with frosting and your parents eat at Whole Foods. And you're like, what? You guys don't have a curfew? You can all sit shoulder. It was kind of, it's weird. So even seeing two people like that, I'm a little, but you know.
See, that's funny to me. I guess because Hickory is also like mostly we don't care. Yeah. It's a little bit like Florida in that aspect. I mean, it's not a gigantic city. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you go to a store, you see people wearing it, but like out and about, and I don't know, I just don't see it as much. So when I hear people like you in Michigan, where it's gotten worse, or it's gotten there's another thing coming, or you've been trapped this whole time, I go like, oh, I forget that there's people who still are doing.
Well,
that.
There's the few little news I saw. I just watched something where there's a new strain or something, and I don't even know now if it's a drug companies just going to keep telling us we need boosters so they make more cash.
Right.
You know, so like, I don't want to be that guy, but part of me is like, what? But yeah. So there's some, so just get double. Well, when you're here in Michigan for our town, our stand-up town swap, our comedian town swap, I got both websites. I haven't decided which one's better. Yeah.
Talk about that real quick. I was going to throw an idea at you. Home turf or home field advantage. You've heard about that before. Like, well, it's a home game. I have home field advantage. Is there something we could do with that?
Yeah, I got, or what I tried to do, temporary townie, but you didn't know what the word townie was.
I didn't like the way townie sounds. Townie sounds like a homeless person to me.
A townie? Really?
Yeah.
Like townie to me, and I don't know if this is a Michigan term, is just somebody who grew up and still lives in their home, in the town that they grew up in, which is probably everybody. Like kind of not a lot of people move away.
Yeah. But,
you know.
I think you're right. I think it's a northeastern thing. Yeah.
I thought a temporary townie. But anyway, just when we come here in June, that's still a month away. But we should start plugging it, or I should get links from the comedy club, or I need to make us posters. There's a lot to do. We got a lot to do.
We have a lot to do.
And then
but we're going to do it in June.
Finally put it on paper, even if it's just me and you in a room. Well, are we going to live podcast at these, like the Ann Arbor shows? If we have 3 shows, that's what I'm trying to make happen, like a Friday and 2 on Saturday. Let's not get crazy and have 4 shows. Let's just do it with 3. 1 show on Friday. You'll like the city of Ann Arbor.
We're only doing 1 in Hickory, by the way, unless you want to do 2 in one night on a Monday night.
No, we'll just do the 1. Ann Arbor. We'll do 2 in Ann Arbor. I don't know seating. Michigan is still, I don't know if it's 50% capacity or 35 or 40. So we'll do 2. But do we do a podcast at all 3? That seems like a lot of work, if you ask me. No, I'm just being lazy.
Someone's saying townies. We call them we just call them locals. But that's locals. And then I'm saying like temporary out of towner. I'm seeing Quantum Reep. I like that one, but that's not me and you. But I like that as an idea for me in the future. Quantum Reep.
I like that one.
What would that be? I'm a time traveler.
That's it. And then what happens is, like Quantum Leap, you jump into a body of
Oh, that's right. That's what he did. He was in the bodies of people.
Yeah, and then when it would turn green, then that's when you can leave the body. So you're just jumping into bodies of comedians throughout time. And you got to get the big laugh so you can jump to the next. So you got to figure out every time span. So if you're a court jester for like King Arthur, but you're John Reep now, right? And I throw you back then, are you going to know what kills? And then if you do material in the 1700s that you know is a comic doing it now, are you stealing from that person?
Like, I like this.
Like if
someone's throwing the word yokels out. I'm liking your idea, but I just also don't want to. I like the other people trying to chime in with the title of our idea.
I like that too.
So. Local yokels, townies, turf. Okay, we're gonna think of a great title. Just know this: me and John are doing a town swap comedy show. I'm going to Ann Arbor. He's coming to Hickory. And we're going to film a bunch of crap. He's going to show me around Ann Arbor, or actually his hometown. We're going to look at
town of South Lyon, then we'll do the show in Ann Arbor. I was trying to make it happen at a South Lyon thing, but I think just the Ann Arbor Comic Showcase where I started, it's just set up for us. It's just a nice stage with good audiences, low ceiling, microphones. Roger, it'll be a good environment.
Yeah. So, my next gig will be in Bloomington, Michigan. I'm sorry, Minnesota. House of Comedy. I'm going to be there April 29th through May the 1st. Never been there before. Bloomington, Minnesota, right outside of Minneapolis, where there's a lot of angry people.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping that maybe some of these angry people will want to take a break and come relax and have a good time and take your mind off of all the anger and hate in the world and come have a happy, joyous time with me, John Reep, at the House of Comedy, April 29th through May 1st.
I am at, I don't know. I think I have a month off. I'm at Laugh Boston, going to Boston for the first time in a long time. But
they know all about townies in Boston.
Yeah, so we'll plug all their stuff next week better. And maybe I'll even throw out that I got to change that text number so it gets a decent autoresponder. I want people on our text list so when we come to Michigan, I can just blast it. We can just sell out the show right then and there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so go to heffernandreep.com every now and then. heffernandreep.com, that we have a Patreon page. You know, if you want to help support this podcast, you can. And there's perks and rewards that come with that. Shout outs and Heffern and Reep merchandise. Go to heffernandreep.com, click on Patreon, and know that we love you. And anything else, John?
Let me do. It's going to end the show like this.
Oh.
I need more music. I need to get better all used music.
Okay.
This is so weird how we end the show with this girly song, but it's a Heffern and Reep show. The Heffern and Reep show. Making this up as we go. Heffern and Reep show.
Heffern and Reep show. Making it up as we go. I love it, everybody.
So, Heffern and Reep. Dude.
You want me to do it?
Song.
Huh?
We just wrote a song. I did that this weekend. I know we're about to leave. I made the whole audience. I made guys in the audience seem like Sam Hunt. I made them sing talk.
I love that.
Yeah, well, I'll try to find a video. I got it from this week. But at the end, this is the end of the Heffern and Reep show. We're saying goodbye now. Have a good night. Eat some Cheerios because it's the Heffern and Reep show.
Take us out, Rick Sanford III. Yeah.
You've been listening to the smooth sounds of Heffern and Reep. The show is over, but come back next week, same Reep time, same Heffern channel, for more comedy conversations, music, 80s church, and the life and times of a quarantine comedian. Always expect the unexpected, and who knows where the conversations will go. And as always, remember to rate, review, subscribe, and share. Peace.
Since you love the Heffron and Reep show, please go to iTunes and let them know. Rank the show and leave a comment. We don't care what you write, you know. They Heffron and Reep have low self-esteem, so please validate them by ranking them and making them seen. So no matter what you